Welcome back to Too Lazy to Read, where we crack open ancient arguments so you can win debates you didn't know you were having. Today, we're talking about a book so spicy, it shook the medieval Islamic world, The Incoherence of the Philosophers by Imam Al-Ghazali. It's a philosophical roast session, a call-out post, a scholarly smackdown. Think Mean Girls, but everyone's quoting Aristotle and throwing shade in Arabic. Let's set the scene. It's the Islamic Golden Age. Philosophy is trending.